Now this manifold is pretty cheap. I got it off of eBay right now, running a good deal, 160 bucks. So we figured we're gonna give it a shot. This manifold here is just, I'm gonna have to relocate the radiator. The way the downpipe has to run, the way I could run the turbo without notching the engine block here, it's really not ideal. So we're gonna try to go with this top mount and have the turbo sit up over here and see what we can do with that. Hopefully it'll work with our 1320 time belt tensioner, but we'll find out shortly. Now this is only going to be test fitted, so I'm not putting any gaskets in here. We're kind of just going to mock everything up. Alright boys, so we tried to put the turbo on the manifold, but as you can see here, it is hitting and the turbo is not all the way seated down. So we have a little dilemma, because when I did hammer the turbo a little bit to try to get it down, see if I can maybe dent this runner in a little bit, but even then it's going to be hard to get a coupler on here and get the pipe to hook up. This is really close. You can't see it, but it's really close to this runner right here. So what I did was I ordered an inch spacer and I tested it, and the hood should shut without cutting the hood, because I really don't want to cut the hood. But so we're waiting on the inch spacer to get this turbo to sit up a little bit higher, so then I think everything will work out properly, and then I could still utilize the 1320 timing belt tensioner. So that's what we're waiting on. We still, I believe this is 44 millimeter, so we need a 44 mil gauge because I do not want to use an eBay one. And yeah, that's where we're at with this.
So basically it's going to extend it by probably an inch, and I forget, I think it was like an inch or something around there. But the holes don't line up. I can get 3 out of the 4 bolts in, so now we're going to have to start drilling. Also, the other turbo that's sitting over there did not work out, so now we're kind of upgrading to a Precision 6266 because it just barely fits in there. So I like the way that works. We're going to do that, but now the problem with this is we have a different exhaust flange, so we're going to have to figure that out down the road. But for now, we're going to drill this flange out and see if we can make all 4 of these bolts go through. And today I'm trying to get the gaskets in the exhaust side of the car. So one gasket here, one gasket here, in between the turbo obviously, and in between the head and the manifold. So let's see what we can get done. So, ordering Amazon parts, you always take the risk. You know, nothing's ever going to fit right, especially when you're building a Turbo Civic that has a whole bunch of different parts that aren't really meant to mesh together. You're going to have to do some work. So, obviously, I knew what I was getting into when I ordered that piece right there. And sure enough, you know, all 4 bolts don't fit in. So, it's one more thing I have to do. So, whatever. What I did was I drilled it out, and then there was a little bit of a lip on there from me drilling, so then I wire wheeled it down, so now it's nice and flush and the gasket won't leak, hopefully. And we're gonna see if it works now.
So we have ran into a problem trying to tighten the manifold. The turbo is hitting the head right here. So what I'm about to do is try to belt sand that motherfucker down, and hopefully this bad girl fits, because I'm done switching turbos. I'm over.
Alright guys, so I know it's been a while. I know. I've been working behind the scenes, losing motivation, gaining motivation. but we're here. So today, what I'm gonna try to film up a little bit of is, got these pipes here. Obviously they're sticking up way too high. I don't like how the exhaust is tilted like that. So we're gonna try to sort something out with getting these pipes looking okay. This wastegate pipe is incredibly close to my rad support, but we're just gonna send her like that. So let's see what we can do. And we're back, boys. So this is how the exhaust ended up being with the wastegate up as well. We ended up coloring them in with a torch, and this is still super close, but we put a couple miles on the car, and you know, it hasn't hit yet, so I'm gonna assume we're good. We still have to get a trans mount on the trans side, but I ended up painting the intercooler pipe black because I ended up ordering another intercooler pipe kit. We ran the feed this way, and of course we changed the turbo, but once again, so 3 different turbos on this car. I know what I said earlier in the video, I'm not putting another turbo on it, but I was thinking, I'm like, do I really want to use my Precision 6266 on a B20 that's most likely probably gonna blow up? It's not if it's not probably, it will blow up, it's just a matter of when. So I decided to slap this $100 turbo on there. Shout out Mecca, thank you, brother. He left this shit in my car, so we put it on. We're putting it to good use. I still have to get some sort of screen on here, and basic rundown of what's left to do. We need plugs, we need to put the 4-bar map sensor on, our injectors, 1000cc RCs that we also got cleaned, and I believe we're gonna try to do a catch can setup. I still have to get that figured out with a fabricator. I still have to meet somebody, and that should be about where we're at. The rest of the car is in pretty solid condition right now. I also picked up a pair of GSR blades on some fatter tires, Yokohamas. I'm gonna have to get tires for these anyway, for $400, so that's not bad. Also need to do brakes. We also got a plethora of parts back here. As you can see, it's a wreck. My apologies. Got a couple wheels here, little rotors there, the old wheels that came off. But the real kickers are, we got new spindles with extended studs, so we're gonna be installing those. I also have front camber arms and stuff like that, but I would like to get the car tuned before we do any of that. So today, as you can see, we're working on the injectors, and we have to, well, I've always had to, when using an RC injector or any type of injector like this, these grommets in the intake manifold right here, give me 2 seconds, these are always a bit too fat when you slide them on the injector, so I just use a bench grinder. I grind them down, I grind down that outer edge a little bit, and then I get the injectors to seat in there perfect, because the size of this does not really match the size of that. You can see a clear difference. The RC injector is a bit fatter, so it's harder for these grommets to fit in the intake manifold. So I just gotta sand them down. So that's what we're doing now. Also, we have injector pigtails to do. We gotta cut these stock ones off, and then butt connect a new set of injector clips on, and get the 4-bar on there. Okay, so change of plans. The stock injector clips actually worked on the RC injectors, which I don't know how, but I guess we'll find out if we hear something prime. So we'll see if we have any leaks, and we'll see if these injector clips work, I guess. All right, update. Holy shit, my eyebrow was stuck in my hat. All right, so update. The injector clips did work. The car primed. As you can see, she is not as clean as she used to be. Sadly, I did not get to film after I went out to test the injectors. Me and my neighbor uploaded a tune from his car, B16 turbo, and put it on here just to see what it would do. And the injectors were working. Everything obviously needs to be fine-tuned a little bit. This is from running so rich at idle, but I've been putting some miles on it. I did have some problems with the gate. So on every other wastegate I've ever ran, I never had to run a vacuum line to it. I always just ran off the spring and it was great. It was fine, worked dandy. So this tile, specifically, you have to run a vacuum line out of somewhere that's getting positive pressure. So what I did was I tapped into my blow-off valve line and I put the wastegate line on there, and now we are hitting our target boost. Before we were hitting about 13 pounds, and I'm not gonna lie, at 13 pounds, even with like a non-proper, like premium proper tune, this thing was kind of moving at 13 pounds, not gonna lie. Really tempted to keep it there, but we can't. It's a B20, it's gonna blow. So we're gonna try to make it live as long as possible, and hopefully get an LS block next and do an LS VTEC with some rods and pistons and make more power, but that's besides the fact. One thing at a time. We're almost there with this. So everything is functioning properly. I have a couple of leaks. I have a leak from the turbo drain. I have a leak from the cam seals, which I have a theory about, and the corner of the valve cover about right over here. You can see it's kind of wet. So I'm thinking that I never ran this valve cover before. It came off a B16 head I had laying around. I think somebody overheated this head to the point where this valve cover got kind of warped, because I did a brand new gasket and everything else. It would make sense why that's leaking and the corner's leaking. So I'm gonna try another valve cover and see how it goes. But it's definitely leaking a fair amount. And at the time of this video, I've been driving the car around. I made a couple of hits on the 8 PSI, obviously 8 to 9 PSI, somewhere around there. We have 159.7 miles on all the parts on the fresh build. So we're leaking a little bit of oil. I got on the lift now. Also been organizing the shop with my neighbor. Long story, we'll get to that in the next video probably. We got a dyno tune set up with Hobby Tuned, and we're gonna see what we can make. I'm hoping to make anywhere from upwards of like 275 to 300 horsepower. I'd be happy with. I just want the car to drive, I want it to run, and I want to eat up some scat packs, you know what I mean? Eat up some scat packs, baby. That's all I care about. Literally, that's all I care about. Because so many scat packs beat me in my SI. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to build this car and we're going to beat some scat packs in the EG. Because why not? And, you know, other stuff that lines up with me. But my main goal is to just shut the scat pack motherfuckers up. Please, just shut the fuck up. You know? I'm using a CRV bottom end. I'm going to fuck you up 9 times out of 10 every time. So, we'll see after it gets tuned how it reacts. Still running no filter on the turbo. As you can see, it is what it is. I guess I get a little more spicy out here in Florida than Jersey, but it seems like I give a fuck a little bit less here. I don't know why, but we're gonna see what the B20 can do. So we got everything set up. We're gonna be here soon. I'm gonna make a separate video for the dyno tune. I know I told you guys in the last one that we're gonna make a video for the dyno, but you know, I think it's good to end it here. We're also been doing shop cleanup, and like I said, we got another car in here, and I'm gonna explain all that in another video. Probably not the dyno video to make it, you know, not make it a clusterfuck. Maybe if it's short, I'll throw it in. But thank you guys for clicking on the video. I know I haven't posted in a while. It's been a long time with this EG trying to get this thing together, and you know, with everything else with life going on around, work, it's just good to have the car running. Like, I really did wish I filmed the other day when I was driving this thing, because my face was glued in a happy fucking idiot. I was just smiles on smiles, miles on miles, baby. All right, you guys, I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. Thank you for clicking on the video. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more persistent. We're getting there. We got cars running, so we can make some more interesting videos and hopefully some Mexico stuff. You know what I mean? So stay tuned. Good stuff's coming up.